The key thing is like for people that don't have financial freedom, your immediate goal should be heading towards financial freedom, right?
Yeah.
Once you got the financial freedom, then obviously financial freedom brings time freedom.
Time freedom is
Personal
essentially,
freedom, right? And
yes.
then obviously, that's why I started investing myself in personal development and stuff, because all that suddenly all that time freedom, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So many people on the other side of that, on the other side of that wheel, man. They're just like, I need to get, I need. Their problems are, I'm trying to save up for a house. I don't want to buy it. The interest rates are too high, or I don't want to pay. I don't want to get locked into a mortgage, locked into debt. These are the mindsets that people come from.
Yeah. Or they think that now house prices can't double again.
Or
things like that. But they have to understand that human nature has not really changed for the last 5,000-10,000 years.
10,000, 500, hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah. So our desires and whatnot is still the same. Our subconscious mind, hasn't really evolved that much in the last 5,000 years of civilization. It's just the way the environment we're in have changed and then constantly changing, but the underlying desires have not changed. Right? I mean, that's what fascinates me. Because and then that's why property doesn't really fascinate me anymore, because I've done it.
You've done it. Are you much into personal development in terms of the historical nature of it?
That's something I want to go back to as well. Is that, look, if people are think that property prices won't double again, just look at back history.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Look back history, and also the key thing is understand the game, the rules of the game, because the history is a symptom, right? If you look at disease or whatnot, right, the cause is the rules of the game. If you understand the rules of the game, then you know the cause and the effect. So the effect is history. History is like a symptom,
It's
right?
what played out.
That's right. For example, if I got a lamp, right, I turn on the lamp, then the lamp is on. What you see is the lights, right?
That's the effect.
That's the effect. But what was the cause? Because I flipped the switch on. And how come it still went on? Because there's electricity. There's light bulbs. You know what I mean? Those are the rules of the game that I'm talking about. And majority of people don't understand it. That's why they're being played, right? Rather than playing the game, they're being played by the game.
By the game. Yeah.
That's why people are in the rat race, because they don't understand the game. For example, the mice, they probably never cared about or concerned about the wheel. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a mouse, but it'll be fun to ask.
What about the mouse who figures out I'm in a wheel?
Well, I don't know. I don't think mouse will have got that IQ high enough. I would say, actually, that's a perfect analogy. I would say the people who become successful are the ones that are not happy with where they are.
So you have to want to change your situation. You have to get that pleasure pain principle, right? You have to
pain and pleasure. That's all about. Humans are driven by pain and pleasure. For example, if I got a needle and poke you in the hand, right? There will only be a certain time until you think, man, Gary, this asshole. You start walk away and don't want to be friends with me. Pain and pleasure, right? For example, if I stack $100 bill on the table and say, hey, CJ, I'm going to stab you on your hand with a knife, right? Maybe $100 not enough. Okay, make it 100,000, right? There's always a price.
There's always a price.
No, I mean that was what it might mean, right? But the thing is, there's eventually you just won't do it, no matter how much money, because the pain is too great than the reward. Humans by study we're 70% more inclined to walk away from the pain than pleasure. That's why people in divorces don't do very well, because what happens is that they get into those arguments turn into a pain, where they will do whatever it is to end the relationship, even though it's a financial disaster.
Disaster, absolutely.
Because of the pain of remaining that situation. I mean, there are plenty of examples, but that's the same. What I'm talking about, human behavior has not evolved in the last 5,000, 10,000 years. We're still driven by those behaviors. You can look up Tony Robbins, 6 human needs or whatnot.
That's right. Certainty, uncertainty, significance.
Love, connection, and feeling and growth. Right? And I wasn't feeling any growth at all.
Right, that's what you were missing.
And I had too much certainty. Right? Everything was, you know,
Because
just
rent's
too
paid on time.
predictable. Right?
Because the rent's paid on time.
Yeah, it's exactly. I don't have financial worries.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have worries, you start worrying about not having worries.
Mm.
The humans are such interesting. We're so interesting
Creatures,
you
yes.
know, creatures. Well, even if you look at zoo animals, if the zoo enclosure, you know, that's why the zoos always want to make the zoo enclosures more interesting for the animals, because they get depressed too if they're bored enough. You know?
Because they don't push themselves enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. I like how you've sort of like taken this whole situation with COVID, like the season of our economy, you know, and looked at it like, you know, you have to prepare for what's coming. You have to understand the rules of the game. You have to read the play, and then you have to make your moves and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where most people are. That is the fundamental sort of underlying issue for most people, is they're trying to figure out exactly the right thing, but it's you need to take a step back and sort of observe what's going on, and go, okay, here's what my plan is. This is my strategy. I'm going to go and buy 2 properties at 4% in these areas with these rental incomes.
I think the key is really to decide that hey, you want to achieve financial freedom. Right, so you know you can do it different ways. You can invest in stocks, you invest in property, but at least choose one and commit to it.
Yeah.
Right. Look at the research or read all the books on pros and cons of it. You know, how fast can you get there?
Yeah.
And then just commit to it if you think that's the one. Now, obviously, talk to experienced people who have done it before.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you coach people,
yeah,
how do you sort of what does that look like? What does that process look like? Do you consult them? Do you look for properties for them?
No, I don't look for them.
Okay.
No, because if I look for them, I'll give them a fish.
Yeah.
They don't know how to fish.
They don't know how to fish.
Actually, that's very hard.
Yeah.
Because I've been conditioned to teach people. That's how my coach taught me, right? So the thing is, that's the difference between teacher and the coach. When you're a teacher in member school, the teacher just tells you stuff, tell you to do this and do that, but they don't explain why, right?
Yes.
They don't explain why. So
which is why I did so terribly in school.
Well, and also, doing well doesn't mean shit, actually, you know, because the real world is different, right? So you got to be able, because the thing like I talk about, market conditions always change, economy always change, right? So if you only be taught to do certain way, right? If you don't ask enough questions of why is these things are happening, right? You'll be conditioned to that old way of thinking. You're not going to be able to adapt and evolve.
It's such a critical moment, isn't it?
Why are humans top of the food chain compared to say a monkey? Even though we're 99.9% DNA the same. You know what I mean? Because we think.
Logic.
We think. Logic, but emotionally as well. We're driven by emotion. Right. And that's really the paradox. Is that we like to think that we're logical, but no, 99% of the time we're all emotional. So it's all understanding what this emotional is. You know, that's understanding the rules of the game as well. But for people that they need to decide that they need to work hard, save hard, work smart, invest smart.
Yeah, very interesting, because you've started at 9 to 5, and then you've built yourself a property portfolio. You've lost money. You've fallen into the pitfalls of property, and
luckily I made more money than I lost.
You made more money than you lost, and $10 million portfolio, and went back to a 9 to 5. Working at a bank, so that you challenge yourself. And you bring structure to your life.
And that's what I chose to do.
And that's
for most people, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with working a job or in business. The key is making enough money to allow you to invest more. And then by the time you have got enough assets, enough passive income, you can choose whatever you like to do. You know? And that's the key. That's the most important part of investing. Financial freedom is to have the choice. Right? Have the choice to be able to choose what you want to do.
Exactly. That's true freedom. That's pretty much what we work for.
It's the biggest psychological change is also, coming from Chinese culture, I was really stingy on myself. Every time I go to, say, a Kiwi restaurant for dinner, it's always pricey, right?
Yeah.
I used to look at the prices on the menu.
Right.
These days I look at it, but I don't really concern about it.
Right.
I'm more concerned about the quality of my companionship.
The memories that you create. And
or the person I'm sharing this meal with. If I can learn something from that person. And the meal, the price doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, I just had my wife's car serviced at Lexus.
Yeah.
Bloody cost a fortune.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
$1,000.
For the
I
service.
didn't really care
Mm.
because I don't need that money anymore. You know,
Mm.
if I was say 10 years ago, I was still driving a Honda, a beat up Honda,
Mm.
$1,000. Shit, that's like 1/3 of the price of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't. You know, I won't recommend buying a new car. By the way, you know.
Yeah. No, it's just. I was just thinking about the fact that 10 years ago you were driving a Honda, and there's a lot of people right now driving that Honda, and
Yeah.
imagining it to be that Lexus.
Even when I was coaching, when I quit my council job, I was driving a Honda Odyssey 2003 model. It was really shit car.
Right.
The-
But you gotta enjoy
the
the shit, man.
The sun visor was falling down, right,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And once I buy and upgrade it, and then we'll go back, right? But
Yeah.
I can if I want to.
That's the thing, There's,
I'm not bothered by that.
You're not bothered by it. There's a freedom.
Because I've been there before. I came from that place.
Exactly.
Shitty cars and stuff.
Exactly.
Actually, I drive an MX-5. It's pretty shitty, right? 2006
Oh yeah.
convertible, but that's hell of fun.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really beat up and I need to change a valve cover gasket. It's leaking oil.
Oh gosh.
But it's fun,
Yeah,
and it doesn't have the depreciation like a BMW or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
I said I just alienated a lot of the audience. BMW drivers, but no, I mean my dream car. Well, I won't say a dream car, but my next car would be like an M2 or something, BMW M2.
Nice.
It was nice. Yeah, a
Nice.
couple years old when depreciation have evaluate.
What do you think about Tesla?
Reliability. Yeah, reliability is my biggest concern.
All right, I'm gonna end the podcast with a little game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a word. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say a phrase, and I want you to tell me what the first thing that
Okay.
comes to mind.
Well, I haven't even gone into COVID yet, but okay, let's do this first.
Okay, let's do this, and then let's
before
get
the
into COVID.
before the climax
Okay.
of COVID. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Property investment.
As a vehicle,
Mindset.
mindset is huge.
Family.
Family is number one.
Yeah, that's good. This environment is so very different to what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's harder. Like we talk about money devaluing and all that. That itself is already a hard journey for a lot of people to try to achieve financial freedom. Now you got other stuff that potentially wipe your job out, wipe your business out, wipe your industry out, wipe your employee out,
Do you see?
making it even more difficult.
Of course.
I always say this, like not publicly, but I'm going to say it, right?
Sure.
Slavery back then.
Mm.
You need to house the slave. You need to provide clothing. You need to give them food to eat. You need to give them things to do. You need to have security to make sure they don't escape and whatnot. And the worst slavery times, if you look at thousands of years, shackles, right? Physical shackles that bind your legs or whatever, right? Now, the modern slavery is debt and interest. Debt and interest is the modern day slavery. So how do you keep someone happy? I won't say happy, but content to be in their shitty jobs. Right? Like I chose to be in a job, right? I enjoy it, even though sometimes it's some things out of my control. It's frustrating, right? With policies and other people and whatnot, right? But no, actually people are good, right? It's just that obviously they have to adapt to the policies and whatnot, right? That's actually, for me, it's actually fun. But for the people who have got no choice to be part of that
The only card they've got.
rat race, right? Imagine if you want to buy a house today, you got to get a mortgage, right? If you don't get a mortgage, how are you going to save up for a house? You can't.
You can't. There's no way.
You can't, right? So everybody, if you want to get a home, you have to get a mortgage. When you get a mortgage, guess what? You got to exchange your finite time for money to pay for the interest on the debt. That is, and then because you got a mortgage now, you got to pay interest. You got to put food on the table and make sure the bank doesn't call your house up, mortgage you sell your house. So even though you got a shitty job that's decently paid or whatever, you have to be content, even though you're unhappy. To make sure the family is fed, make sure the house payments are made. That's modern day slavery, right there.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it right there. And a lot of people are there.
Debt and interest, right? So the difference between rich and poor, they all have mortgages, they all have loans. The difference is who pays for the interest. The ones who pay for the interest are the ones that are being enslaved.
Wow.
But not necessarily by the rich, right? But by the system that ultimately result in the rich and poor, right? And that's the unfortunate part is the system. I mean, look, if you look at humanity, even Roman times or whatnot, humans are not perfect. You never have perfect. You always have rich and poor.
Yes.
You know, whether it's Stalin capitalism or Mao or under now obviously democracy under Trump, whatever, it's the same. Humans are the same, right? So my message to people is, you know, it's a better place if you try and become rich than being poor.
Of course.
At least you got more freedoms.
Of course.
You know,
There's no
money
question about
brings
that.
freedom,
There's
especially
no
passive
question about
income. Right? You got more choices,
Mm.
especially with the COVID. You know, if your job get wiped out, if you don't have a portfolio or cash producing assets,
Yeah.
it could be stocks, it could be dividend stocks, right?
It could be businesses, but right now,
Well, I mean,
what
if
are
you
gonna
get
into?
if your business get wiped out, Jesus,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a really good place, and what can I say? You know, the rich play a certain game, right? If you want to have no worries about finance and money and all that, play the rules of the rich. That's all you can do, man. You know, don't try to start evolution. It's not going to work. That's why we have got this martial law coming and stuff, right? People who try to beat the system, ultimately, look, it's like Matrix, right? If you reset the system, guess what? It's going to be the same system, just a different shape. That's all. Because humans, we have not changed.
That's very, very powerful right there. That's very, very powerful. You're speaking.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm frustrated, but at the same time, I know that it's going to be the same.
It's going to be the same. There's still going to be, right? I mean, people. If we can inspire one person, if this what you said, it's inspired me. But if it can inspire one person out there to go to figure out what their plan is, what their process is, so that they can leverage this winter time, so that they can harvest.
Yeah, and really rather than say the between rich and poor, I would say between the proactive and the reactive.
Yes.
Proactive are the people who are like ourselves, right? Want to have our destiny in our hands, right? Not by someone else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we always have to conform to the law and society and whatnot, right? There's things you can't do, you know, like killing people, whatnot. You can't do that. You know what I mean? There's
But
always you have to conform some rules,
but expecting the state to look after
at least maximize your freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I find that being financially free solves a lot of problems. It's not going to solve all your problems. Like if you got drug problems,
Yeah.
you can pay someone if you got enough money, you can pay Tony Robbins to solve your problems. You know, emotional problems. You know, things like that.
Personal growth, personal development. You know, it's
Yeah, or if you got a weight disorder, whatnot, like these Hollywood stars, they can get fit. Guess what? Because they hire all these best trainers and chefs and all the world. It's money can
training
solve a lot of
programs.
problems. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all come down to choices.
Absolutely.
And, I'm all for choices.
Absolutely. So we can come and learn about property from you. If there's people out there who wanna figure this thing out, they can come and reach out to you.
Yeah, just Google me. Go to my website, whatnot, get in touch. Yeah.
Get in touch. You do personal consultations.
Yeah, consultations, and got online programs, one-on-one coaching if they want.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you sort of give them a strategy as to what.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Personalized, kind of depending on. I mean, it's more about recommendations. Like if they got a certain budget based on their financial situation. And I'll say, hey, look, based on your budget, these type of properties at this price range will give you the best bang for buck.
Right. And based on where you want to be in 5 years.
Well, it's like building a pyramid. You build brick by brick by brick, right? Each brick should help you achieve.
Lay a brick a day.
Yeah, like building the Great Wall of China. You don't build it overnight. You got to build brick by brick by brick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So each brick need to help you stack up more bricks. Like that. That childhood story, the three little pigs.
Yes.
The straw house, the stick house, and the brick house.
The brick house. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's why brick and tile is such like a huge thing. I need brick and tile.
Yeah, well, we've all been conditioned.
We've been conditioned
from our childhood, right, of certain things. So certain things about money, we got to brainwash ourselves. The bad, what do you call it? Say money is evil. Those kind of bullshit stuff. You got to wash that away, and that's hard. Right?
And how does that happen? Books, do you think, or people? How do you wash that away?
You first of all, you need to wake up. You need to be unhappy where you are right now. That's the only way to make a change. Once you, Tony Robbins talks about being resourcefulness. It's not how much resources you have. It's about being resourcefulness here.
Mm.
If you think you can't do it, you're absolutely right. You can't do it.
Yeah.
But if you think you can, you will find ways. You know, if you lack capital, as long as that doesn't put you off, you say, rather than, oh no, I don't have the deposit. You need to change that question that you ask yourself, how can I come with the deposit?
Yeah.
Then you'll find ways,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, and such a that's why it's such a personal, growth-oriented journey, but it's also such a life-changing journey.
Yeah, so
You know, you're the prime example of how property
and
is completely.
unfortunately and unfortunately that it's not an easy road.
Sure.
You can't just go from A to B in a hurry. You gotta keep doing, like, that's why I say, work hard, work smart. If you're working in McDonald's, no offense, I've got friends who earn like 100K in McDonald's, but you don't want to be the one at the counter, you know what I mean? Or the one at the drive-through taking orders, earning above minimum wage. You will need to work smart. Or cleaning toilets. I mean, no offense to people cleaning. I mean, they do a fantastic job. That's why I've clean society. But you won't rather be the one that employing cleaners to clean for you. You know what I mean? That's why working smart.
Absolutely.
Working hard alone is not enough anymore. It worked well for our parents, but that's not working anymore, right? You got to work smart as well, especially with technology, COVID, all that. And you got to save, right? Investing, whether you invest in shares or stock or investing in property, you got to have some savings. You got to save hard, right? So you can invest smart. You can't just throw the dart at the board and then hope you get lucky, right?
Right.
That's the next 10 years. What's going to happen is a lot of people have money in term deposits. They will be forced to be savers. Savers will be forced to be investors. When these savers, a lot of them baby boomers, have got a lot of money in their term deposits, when they don't know how to invest, guess what? They're going to become losers, right? Imagine like GFC, blue chip company, those finance companies handle finance, all that. Those people put their life savings with them, trusting them and thinking, no, they're gonna, and then they get some TV host celebrity to front up their ad, and they trust that guy on the TV and say, oh yeah, I like that guy as a presenter before. Oh yeah, that product must be good. They don't do research. They just believe in them. Oh yeah, 10% return, 8.5%, 10% return. You see them on Facebook these days as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Bullshit. But the problem is people don't put enough time to learn for themselves. And people don't even read past the cover of the books. You know what I mean?
Research.
They don't learn for themselves.
Due diligence.
Yeah. The key thing, like if you're a parent, like I got 2 girls, right? The best thing you can leave for your kids. It's not the money, right? It's not where's my wallet? It's not your assets.
Yeah.
Your assets is here. Pass this on to them.
Knowledge.
Obviously, if you got shit knowledge and whatnot, right? Don't pass that on to them, right? Only pass the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So knowledge is what you will want to leave. And knowledge is what you're giving to people.
Wisdom. Wisdom. Because you can read a lot of books, but if you don't understand it, you're not converting knowledge to wisdom. Wisdom is ultimately the most powerful thing in the world, right? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a journey that was. Whew. Thank you. Is there anything that you specifically want, any piece of information that you want to share for your audience?
Well, I think I shared enough. I think you got to take in charge of your destiny. If you're heading towards a road that's not going to end well, change course, right? Like I have changed course many times in my career, right? Business, I've changed course many times.
Don't be afraid.
Sometimes don't be afraid to admit defeat, right?
What of the fears that come with changing course?
Well, uncertainty, because you changing course. That means what happens when you know of certain things to do, but you changing course, you need to learn new skill sets.
That's right.
You need to learn new stuff.
You're not sure of the outcome of those.
That's right. And a lot of the time through learning, you're going to fall over. You're going to fail. And then we've been conditioned by society, by our education system, that failure is bad, right? But the thing is, success is built on failure, right? Yeah.
Success is built on failure.
Yeah.
So fail more.
Yeah, fail more, but at the same time, you need to know that the road you're going is worth going. Right? I think Tony talks about this all the time. If you go in the wrong direction and you still fail, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're heading the bloody right direction. Yeah. In the first place.
Yeah.
Right? That's where conviction comes, right? I mean, Tony talks about a lot of stories where there was example of some guy. For example, KFC Colonel, right? What's his name? Colonel Sanders, right? I think he fell like more than 1,000 times.
Yeah,
He had that
right.
recipe. He was 65.
He was trying to sell that recipe.
He was trying to sell that recipe. He had more than 1,000 declines.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he knew, he had that conviction that his recipe was the best in the world, right? That's what kept him going. Yeah. Or people that survived in the Nazi concentration camps.
Have you read that book written by that guy in the Nazi concentration?
Yeah, he's a psychologist that told me about. I haven't read that, but I can understand that.
A Man's Search for Meaning.
That's right.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Any situation
Yeah.
is positive. He basically imagined his wife in the concentration camp talking to him, being with him.
Yeah.
You know?
Same thing as the more recent as Michael Jordan. Because it's so competitive, sometimes he will create a story inside his head that the other player is trying to provoke him or whatnot.
Yeah.
In reality, the other guy hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
But respect him. But he just created conditions. Well, talk about being a fish tank, right?
Yeah.
He forced him into himself in that certain situation because he knew under those circumstances he'll perform his best, right? In life, sometimes you have to create those boundaries. That's actually fun.
Yeah, it pushes you forward. Gets you living up to your potential, tapping into it a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, ultimately, it's not everything is about min-max. Not everything is about achieving your greatest potential or not. Ultimately, it's always about, the main thing is have freedom. And then you can do whatever you like. Obviously, within confines of being a good human being. Right?
Yeah. Be ethical, be moral.
Be ethical, moral. That's the most important thing. If you want to leave a legacy, other than leaving wisdom to your kids, is be a good human being. Respect others. That's the key thing that humanity needs right now, more than ever.
Respect and honor.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that we're losing all that. Big corporations, they put profit before whatever. Mining, destruction of forests, things like that. If you look at Michael Moore's film, Planet of Humans, it's pretty depressing, man. People will think, Agenda 21, depopulation. Sad to say this, but Bill Gates is right. Sometimes with anyways, I think we're heading towards a dark hole.
Yes, I think we are heading towards a dark hole, and
yeah,
a lot of uncertain, uncharted territory.
Yeah, I think the key is just look after your family.
Exactly, it's your
That's the most important thing. Jordan Peterson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dr. Jordan Peterson. I think he's a phenomenal person to listen to. Yeah, listen to. Yeah.
Puts you right. It's like your long lost ethical uncle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're losing that. People are getting more selfish. Especially social media is making it even worse. Especially if you follow a lot of some so-called successful people, you look at the way they are. You can tell by their personality by looking at their social media, because every post is all about me.
Yeah.
Certain,
every move is about selling something.
Certain investors, property developers, this month, we achieve this many sales, or they say, our 100-year plan. But it's never about what are you doing for society. It's all about me. Me this, me that. I used to be like that quite a bit. Being a show off and stuff like that. And still
everyone's on their own little journey.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like Tony Robbins talk about different level of consciousness. Right, you go from very self-centric, right, to becoming more and more about others.
Community.
I'd like to give to others. Because once you have got things in abundance, whether it's money, the rich people they donate the most because they got more abundance in money. And at the same time, a lot of people donate their time, and if they got a lot of time, they donate their time. Or they got a lot of knowledge, they will donate their knowledge or wisdom. You don't have to be rich to be able to donate or contribute. Dalai Lama, I don't think he's rich. I don't know, maybe he is. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of those people, right? That donate their gift, their wisdom.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying I'm great. Part of me is still selfish. But it's that I like to think that's a natural progression of people that becoming less self-centric. Start with your family, give into your family, and then once your family has got you know, whether it's emotional health, physical health, or financial health, start giving, you know, expand your bubble. You know, that's the catchphrase right now, right? Expand your bubble. You know, in that regard, expand your bubble in that regard.
Yeah.
Rather than the fear and the chaos we see in the world. You know, especially in America right now. Jesus.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. I think we're very, very lucky to be sitting here in New Zealand, even though, you know, some of the things that happened were